Hi guys, welcome back to Vedic Astrology. Today we are resuming back with our series where we've been talking about house lords in different houses across your 12 zodiacs. So in this series we're going to be talking about your sixth house lord and its placement in different houses across your kundli. So if you've not had a chance, I will recommend you to please open up your birth chart. If you don't know your birth chart, you can go to any of the free softwares on Google, punch in your details of your birthplace, location, time, etc., and you will be able to create your Vedic chart and then look into the lord of your sixth house. To make it simple, Mars is the ruler for Aries and Scorpio. Jupiter is the ruler for number 9, which is Sagittarius and Pisces. Saturn is for Aquarius and for Capricorn. Sun is the ruler for Leo. Moon is the ruler for Cancer. And similarly, Mercury is the ruler for number 6, which is Virgo, and number 3, which is Gemini. And last but not the least, Venus is the ruler for number 2, Taurus, and 7, Libra. So if you see any of these numbers and you understand which is the lord for your sixth house, you will be able to figure out where it has moved in your chart, and then you can understand the analysis within this video. All right. Sixth lord is the representation of, or rather, sixth house represents litigations, it represents loans, it represents the challenges that you are going to be facing through the course of your life. It also denotes your daily routine. It is 12th to the 7th house. So people say that it denotes the possibility of divorce. It denotes the enemies that are known to you, that are visible to you. Unknown enemies are seen from the 12th house, 7th from the 6th. But your known enemies are seen from the 6th house itself. It is a house that represents competition, your ability to put up a fight. Why? Because if you count from the third house, uh, it is fourth from the third, which will give you an understanding that it's the what should I say, the satisfaction of the challenges that you are overcoming. That is the energy that is represented by the sixth house. Now, in Vedic astrology, house number 3, 6, 8, and 12 aren't considered as the easiest of the houses, but they have their own pros and cons. When the sixth lord moves into the first house, what's happening is that it is going 8 places away from itself. Your first house is your lagna. It defines your mindset, your body, your physical self, your vitality, your energy, your complete life can be seen from your lagna itself and the strength of your lagna lord. But when sixth lord is coming to the first house, what we are seeing is that all these challenges of the sixth house through the eighth aspect or through the eighth movement are coming into your lagna. So, on a good day, what you would observe is that these people, they tend to take problems head on. Any kind of challenges that are thrown at them, any kind of daily routine that we're talking about, these people, they tend to practice that with extreme rigor. You can see a lot of these people will have sense of competition. They are driven by the challenges that are thrown at them. They are workaholics because they are ready to work long hours. They are ready to slog long hours to achieve what they want to achieve. If it is a malefic planet like a Mars or a Saturn, it will give you a lot of energy to overcome the problems that are coming your way. You will not be hesitant to face those problems if these planets are in good dignity as well, if the Lord is in good dignity. But at the same time, we have to understand that when this happens, then you will be surrounded with a lot of pressure. Always, you would be noticing that some way or the other, you will be encountering challenges. People will be throwing obstacles your way, specifically in your job. You will notice that people who are jealous of you will find ways to put you down. You will be facing a lot of hurdles in any project that you undertake. I'm not saying that you will not be able to accomplish. You will be able to accomplish your goals, but you have to be very, very strategic as to how you approach these challenges in life because they are going to come in a horde. It is also possible that some of you might encounter that uh, issues related, medical issues, specifically to your, stomach and lower abdomen, could be a primary cause of trouble in your life. It could cause some sudden discovery. You go for a medical check and you discover something which you were not even anticipating. That is another possibility that will come with people with this combination. When the sixth lord is moving to the first house, what happens is that this person, if he is not following a certain schedule in life, a certain discipline in life, life tends to go haywire. One of the most important remedies that I suggest, in fact, one of my a regular client who comes to me, and he's been dealing with a litigation situation, there are certain very specific remedies I have given to him in terms of overcoming these problems and trying to time things when the sixth lord is in play, because Saturn is the key player in his chart. So you have to understand that what kind of challenges will come your way and what you have to practice on a day-to-day perspective to overcome those problems. Loans are not ideal for this person. I will not recommend this person to go with heavy loans in life. Now, somebody would say, Dev, this means that I cannot go for a mortgage or I cannot go for a loan for my business. No, I'm not denying that. But you have to figure out strategies. Can you partner on that loan with your spouse or somebody else in your family? Or if you have to undertake loans, you have to figure out that what is the right timing to do so. Else, you are bound to face challenges on that front. Medical issues, we've already discussed on that front. Competition. See, competition has to be seen in two ways. Competition can be one with respect to, when you are appearing in some sort of a competitive examination, some kind of entrance test and stuff, maybe the kind of business you are operating in, or your colleagues, where you are trying to figure out that there's an opportunity to win a particular deal and there are multiple people eyeing for it. How do you pan against such kind of a situation? But at the other end, that competition could also be the enemies who are known to you and they are intentionally trying to hurt you. As long as you have a malefic, that malefic is going to help you overcome these problems. But if it is a benefic planet, the best way for these people, and even I would want to add Ketu in this situation. If even Ketu is placed, and Ketu's lordship I see typically from Scorpio. So if you have number 8 written in your 6th house and Ketu is placed there, of course you have to see the position and dignity of Mars, but Ketu's presence will also tell that you are a person who would want to avoid unnecessary obstacles, avoid unnecessary situations, and take a bypass route, which may not be a bad idea to do so. A lot of people with Ketu placement in the 6th house would feel this. Okay. Uh, Remedies I've already discussed. You have to focus in terms of bringing a discipline. Having a pet, and trust me, pet brings a lot of discipline in life. Having a pet in your home is going to be another good thing, because they are going to make you do certain activities that are time bound. You have to feed them, you have to take them out, or whatever it is, and whatever animal that you are comfortable with. I know a lot of people will be inclined towards dogs, but whatever animal is that you're drawn to, you should think of doing that. Okay. Now we will talk about the sixth lord moving into the. Before I go back, I also want to say that for sixth lord in the first house, you have to remember that getting in the field of medicine could be another interesting aspect. Or life insurance as a profession may not be a bad idea. And the reason I'm saying is sixth and eighth connection happening with Lagna. That is going to be very, very key for you to understand. Whatever, you have to see your sixth lord, seventh lord, 10th house as well. But because of the 6 to 8 connection in your Lagna, you have to consider, because sixth house also represents your job. So your profession can be defined, and I'm saying it is not about being self-employed but working. So for example, if you're in the field of medicine, you're a nurse, you're a doctor working in a large hospital, this is an interesting combination for you to work out. Now moving on to the sixth lord in the second house. So when sixth lord moves into the second house, what happens is that we are talking about the connection of all these attributes of sixth. And if you've not listened to it, I will recommend you to go back and please listen to that. And then connection with the second house, which represents your family, which represents your food, your savings, your money, your wealth. So on a negative day, the problem is, while this is a ninth movement from its own house towards the second house, all these challenges with respect to the obstacles, with respect to the problems, are now coming towards your family, towards your food. What it would mean is that if this combination is not panning out well, then you will see that the mistakes or the challenges that come towards you, they are not just going to impact you, but they are going to have a deeper impact towards your family as well. It would mean that, uh, you know, for example, you've taken a huge loan. Your family's support might be required to, to dissolve that loan, to address that loan in itself. In a lot of charts that you would have seen, that kids tend to take up the loans of their parents and then they repay it back. That kind of a situation is seen when sixth lord is moving into the second house, 9 places away from itself. But also remember that it's a earth, in dharma, earth, kam, moksha, quadrant. It's an earth owner which is moving into the house of earth itself. What does that mean? That on a good day, your profession, for example, you might be in a medicine field, you might get into banking, but you will follow the order of your family. It's a very good combination for self employment in family business itself. So you might remember I said that when it comes to medicine, you might get into a job if it is going into your lagna, but when it is going into your second house, you might join the profession or of your family. Of course, the chances of that being associated in some sort of medicine is of the highest probability. The other thing that you would have to notice that your energy, your day-to-day activities will be spent in terms of addressing home chores. A lot of homemakers might have this combination, or towards your family. You could be associated with food related activities in your life. Your day to day activity, your growth in wealth or your savings will happen dependent on how hard you work in your profession, in your job. Alignment with your superiors and your bosses, guidance of your fatherly figure, parent, dad, is going to be paramount in terms of generating the wealth that you are looking forward to. You might be taking a lot of long journeys. See, the ninth aspect or the ninth movement is also coming into play. So you might have to take long journeys away from your family, or you could be living away from your family and then you have to figure out a way to travel and be with them. A lot of us, we are in professions where we are continuously moving, and you have your home in a smaller town, you have your profession in a bigger city, and or rather the opposite, you have a business running in a smaller city, and for the sake of the education of your kids, you've put them in a larger city, and you are doing these movements, managing on a day-to-day basis, on a weekly basis, to spend time with them. This combination will be prominent in those kind of people. You will notice that any kind of loans or litigations risk is higher with these kind of people, especially when you see that your enemy or your challengers are trying to not just come after you, but they are trying to come after your entire wealth. That is a dangerous situation to be in. And I will always recommend, when this kind of combination in place, you have to bring in some level of spirituality in your day-to-day basis. That is the best remedy. You have to, in whatever religion you believe in your daily routine, you have to inculcate certain habits that help you connect with your higher self, that helps you connect with a guru, because they are going to be the right mentors to help you grow in your life. Okay. uh, I've talked about the remedies, I've talked about the challenges. All I will urge is that if you are sometimes confused from a professional sense, this particular combination gives, you know uh, both combinations. Like it can take you in the route of pursuing your own job, which is very prominent and direct to see. However, if you see that the other placements are also decent, specifically your 7th and the 10th, and if there is any combination happening, let's say with a benefic planet or with the lords of 7th and 10th, you must explore entrepreneurship. You must explore running your own business or being self employed. For example, a doctor, instead of working under a hospital large chain, should explore running their own clinic. But you have to figure out what is the planet. Is it in conjunction with a Jupiter or a Venus? Is it in some kind of a combination with the 10th Lord or with the second Lord itself? Okay. Now, moving in from sixth Lord to the third house. What's happening here? Sixth Lord, which is the Lord of Earth Trikon, moving into the Kam Trikon, 10 places away from itself. Now, this is, in my mind, a very enterprising combination again. And I think in this case, the planet will be very comfortable. Of course, we are not talking about a Viparit Rajuga coming into play like it would happen in a 6, 8, and 12 combination. But when the sixth Lord is going into the third house represents your hard work. It represents your neighbors. It represents your hobbies. It represents your younger siblings. It represents your communication and the ability to show your pursuit in any stream. So imagine that competitive behavior, that competition, that ability to bring that day to day rigor, that discipline, all of that is now moving into the third house where it has to be executed. And in a way, the planet will be comfortable. Both a malefic or a benefic planet will be comfortable with this kind of a situation. However, in third house placements, specifically if the karakas like a Saturn or a Mars are coming in place, then I think this almost works like a Raj Yoga because it is going in a Kendra to itself. It is going 10 places away from itself. And your profession will be deeply impacted with this. I think if I remember this correctly, it is in Sachin Tendulkar's combination as well. I could be wrong, but there was some play of Mars being exalted in his case. But this is a very interesting combination. Now, what happens here is that you will be burning a lot of your energy. You will be, whether it's in terms of hobbies or in terms of short-term travel on a day-to-day basis. If you are in a profession, that profession might require you to do a lot of short-distance travel. If you pursue a hobby, say you play tennis, you would want to play tennis on a daily basis. You go for swimming, or you are into bodybuilding and stuff. These kind of people have a daily rhythm to it. They like to maintain it. They will not drop the ball in terms of missing their activities, whatever their hobby is. So that's a good thing. And especially this combination will have tendencies, if it is a malefic like a Mars or a Saturn, to exert, do physical activities, trekking, tennis, sports, whatever it is. So that's a very good thing to happen in this case. You will find that you will spend a lot of your energy and hard work in battling your enemies as well. You will be very driven and motivated to overcome the challenges that are coming from the world. 10th, it's your social status. So you will rise and shine when competition is coming your way. If somebody challenges you, that is the time when you will be able to bring out your best to the world. So another good thing that happens in this kind of a situation. Then you would also notice a lot of times people with this combination will display ability to jump from a job to a self-employment at a certain point in their life, maybe in the in the second stage of their life. Now you have to see certain combinations with 10th and 7th and your Navamsha as well. You have to check that too. But I've seen in practice a lot of times people with this combination, they tend to bring a lot of side hustle ability, and then slowly grow that side hustle into something bigger in terms of long term. So that is another thing, that if you are, if you have this emotion that you want to do something of your own and you're watching this video right now, you should think about it and plan around it, because this chart combination will help you achieve that. Now, there are certain challenges that also come. We've discussed about this thing. Some of the challenges are that the relationship with your neighbors, the relationship with your siblings could be tricky. Either you might find situations that they are in a negative scenario, that they're not happy with your growth, there is a jealousy, or you do not have a good uh, uh, association, friendly connect with your neighbors. or you would find that there is some or the other way that trouble finds its way into the life of your siblings. Your younger brother, your sister might, might find it hard to succeed in certain areas, or they face continuous obstacles. Health related problems to your siblings could also be a outcome with this combination. Remember, earth is going into the Kam Trikon here, and it is the first level of the Kam Trikon and the second level of the earth Trikon. So it's going at a lower level. Another possibility is that you could be living in the suburbs. This tendency is also coming into play, where somehow or the other through the course of your life you will not be able to live in the main town. You will have to live far away from where the major development has happened in your community, in your city, wherever you're living in. A lot of times we see that people buy their homes a bit further from the city, and then that city expands and they're the part of it. In this combination, somehow it will happen that you will have to again shift places, and you will go further away into another place, another town. So that is another, especially if Ketu is coming in into play, or some sort of Ketu, relationship in terms of an aspect or conjunction is coming into play. Very, very strong chances this would happen. So now moving on to the next combination, where sixth lord moves into the fourth house. Now it is going 11 places away from itself. Good thing is that 11 denotes wish fulfillment. It denotes gains. It denotes you overcome your enemies. It denotes large network. So, on a good situation, what would happen is that the kind of job you are in, or the kind of rhythm, hard work, discipline that you follow in your life, it is going to help you expand in terms of your mental peace. It is going to help you expand in terms of your knowledge. It is going to help you expand in terms of your assets. You might have a large network of people as well. You could be connected or be in a profession that entails you to make a big network in life. It would also mean that you will see a lot of positive development in your life if you have pets. Trust me, in this combination, uh, I have seen, I mean, I do not have this combination. I have seen the change in my life come when I adopted a dog for myself. I've seen that change in my own life. And I've seen it in combinations of some of my friends where they've seen an uptick, post their adopted dogs or birds specifically. There's a sense of sereneness, calmness that comes in. You will feel that joyous bit in yourself. People who are owners of pets and listening to this, they will understand what I'm trying to say here. So you will see that happen as well in a positive sense. Another bit is that, when you see anything with respect to your home, with respect to your mom, in terms your or in terms of your relationship, your emotional connects, you will see that you people with this kind of a combination have a tendency to work on each of that aspect. If you are given a task to remodel, let's say, your home, build up something, you will not take a minute in terms of not exploring DIY combinations. You might remodel your own kitchen, your bathrooms, your flooring and stuff. You want to take up those kind of tasks. You will spend a lot of energy in taking care of your mother, especially in the second half of the life. So if you have this combination, you will see that and by the way, you will derive gains, karmic gains, by doing so as well. So people who are having this kind of combination, you will figure out that uh, especially in the second half of your life, due to certain ailments, and I was about to come into the negative aspect as well, negative medical situation might arrive, especially to your mother, and you might have to spend time, effort, and energy to take care of her. Another thing to note, since we are now talking about the challenges that will come, because see, now sixth house connection is happening with a Kendra, and it's an important Kendra house. So the problem that you guys are going to face, or the people with this combination will face, is that their mind will be troubled. with the obstacles, with the botherations, with the challenges that are coming in their work front, in their job front. You will not have, or there will be certain lack of peace. Even if you are excelling in your career, there will be certain lack of peace that will come into play. Remember, when this sixth lord is coming into the fourth house, it will be aspecting your 10th house as well. And we've not touched upon that bit yet. So it will be aspecting your 10th, and that is where I'm saying, from a profession standpoint, some or the other challenges will keep coming up. However, it is not a bad combination in terms of building your wealth whilst being in job. You should benefit in terms of building your wealth by taking loans. This is another advantage of this. Debt is going to help you grow. And in YouTube today, a lot of these finfluencers, or whatever you call them, finance influencers, personal finance debaters, they tend to talk a lot about how you can leverage debt. People with this combination should actually think about it. You are going to find benefits in terms of expanding your portfolio, especially your real estate portfolio, leveraging debts. You have to think that any kind of, from a remedy perspective, any kind of medicines or medical donations done in old age homes, or done even through CSR partnerships at your work front, they are going to be a very good remedy for you. Very, very good remedy. Okay. So I think this has made sense. If there are any comments, please drop in, and I would love to add through my shorts as well if I have missed on any points. But now, when sixth lord is moving into the fifth house, what's happening? It is going 12 places away from itself. It is going into the house of your degree, educational degree, not knowledge, educational degree. It is coming into the house of your stocks, investments, creativity, music, art. It is coming into the house that shows a relationship with your kids, your children, house of your romance. Now, sixth lord, we've discussed a few minutes back what all it represents. So, very interestingly, somebody had, I think, pinged in one of the chats, in the comments boxes, about the sixth lord being the lord of divorce as well, or the house of divorce as well, and how does it pan. So, and I will touch that in relationship with the seventh house as well. But I have seen this combination coming into play for people who see a possibility of having a second marriage in life. Okay. Or rather, romance brewing post divorce. That is another possibility that happens. Not necessarily second marriage, but yeah, some sort of a relationship coming into play. But we are now talking about a very pious, pure Trikona trine house getting impacted by the sixth house energy. So you will see that during the course of your education, during the course of your degree period in your school or in your college days, some or the other major trouble would have come, obstacle would have come, and it would have resulted into obstruction, like your studies would have got impacted, or you would have had to take a break. Somehow there would have been a cut. My own family member, I know somebody who has this combination, and his father passed away, right? So why I'm telling this is that medical issue resulted into this person dropping his education, and of course financial problems also came his way, and this resulted in the person to drop out of his course midway and then pursue something else, be a bread earner for the family. So you will notice that there could be an impact in your education because of this, because of some medical situation, because of some financial situation. I'm not saying you will not find a possibility of pursuing anything. You might, but more often than not, it will result into an abrupt end of your education. But it is going 12 places away, and we will talk about that bit as well, because it is going to show certain positives too. It is going in a good house. It's going into the house of dharma. Second thing you will notice is that there could be certain ailments when your kids are born. There could be certain ailments that they might be carrying with themselves. It could be, a minor issue in terms of, we see a lot of times that kids have these seasonal issues of falling sick pretty often, especially in their tender ages, 0 to 4. Your kid might see this possibility if you have this combination in your chart. As the kids grow up, if you do not see this problem in the early part of your life, as the kids grow up, there will be differences that might arise between you and your children. Difference of opinion, or them choosing to stay away from you. Now, a lot of times in the Western cultures, that's a very common thing. It's becoming common in the Indian society as well. And why? Because we have to pursue our education. We go and live in a different city for work and stuff. So somebody might say that, dude, it's a very normal thing. But what I'm trying to say is, it's not just the physical aspect of it, but there is a mental distance as well that will come into play. You might be living away from your kids, but they're still calling you up, being associated. But in this situation, there's a disparity. There's this distance that emotionally also creeps in. Mentally, a distance creeps in. Your romantic life could be troubled. You might find competition in romance. You might find failure in romance or breakups happening because, you know, so many times we see we are in a relationship and then there is a third party situation and somebody comes and, things do not go as you would have uh, uh, thought of. This is another combination which will denote challenges or failures in romance. People who are into stock trading, investments, speculation, and stuff, I will want you to be cautious in terms of taking those kind of bets, because it's a 12th house, sorry, 12 places away situation. It could lead into tremendous losses for you. It would not have been the case in a 6 to 8 combination, 6th lord and 8th, but in 6th to 5 this is a challenge. Now the good bit would be that if you are a disciplined person, if you are a person who are focused towards meritocracy, if you do not get bogged down by your obstacles, the biggest rise that you are going to see is because of your education or with the result of the birth of a child in your life. Whilst there are negatives in terms of problems in terms of your relationship with your children or their health, but you will find growth in your profession post these two situations. It's also a possibility that your education versus your job might be in completely tangential. It could be it could be that you pursue certain education, you had a break or drop, and then you pursue something else or through self knowledge at a later point in time, and that results into your full time career, full time job. That is another very strong possibility in this case. This combination will also make you sort of indifferent to the problems. Like there will be a natural spiritual sense in you that if somebody is trying to conspire against you, you will not be too bogged about it. You will not be bogged down. You will just be focused in terms of what you have to do. That is another good thing in terms of naturally having this kind of an attitude. Remember, when the 6th lord is coming and sitting in this, it is also aspecting your 11th, which is 6th to 6th. So you will be able to find those gains. And as I said, after the birth of your child or through any of those things, you are going to find those gains and wish fulfillment with some or the other major activity in life. A major loss could actually be a trigger to future gains in your life. So please do not be bogged down if this combination is happening. Say you suffer a major loss in your stock investments and stuff. That might be a transformation trigger in your life that leads you to take an entirely different course, entirely different chart, and run your life accordingly. So hope you understand what happens with this combination. Again, remedy would be, I would want you spiritual sense is already there in people like you. But I would want you to just develop that to the next level, bring discipline in your day to day activities, and that should trigger a lot of positivity in your life. Now, when the sixth lord is in its own sign, in its own house, sixth lord in the sixth house itself. In this case, what happens is, first and foremost, it forms a very strong Shatru Hanta Yoga. It's a yoga in which you are able to overcome the obstacles, the challenges, the competition, your enemies, whom you know, and even the unknown ones, because you are aspecting the 12th house now. So, in this situation, what you will realize is that there will be a very strong fighting attitude in you. If you have any benefic planets sitting here, that fight would be simpler. But if you have a malefic planet sitting here, that fight would be hard. But remember, hard fights are only for the people who have bigger goals, larger objectives in life. So, bigger achievements, grander achievements will happen if you have a malefic sitting here and in its own sign. Imagine a Mars sitting in Aries here, and that too Lagna Lord coming in here. Very strong combination for you to be in law and a big lawyer, right? Very big surgeon doing complicated surgeries. Those are the kind of obstacles you are facing in life, because Mars denotes surgery as well. It denotes knife, like Ketu. So very strong situation. Even Sun's placement in its own sign in Leo, very very good. I mean, there is nothing that is going to stop you from shining in any of the competitive examinations, especially if it comes to your government jobs, any kind of pursuits, especially with a central government. There are so many competitive examinations, civil services examinations that happen all across the board. People with this combination have a very strong chance of succeeding and winning in those kind of encounters. It's a very good strong combination to have in play. Of course, it also depends that which is the second house this planet is ruling, so you will have to see effects of that as well. But from a sixth house perspective, people with this combination will have the ability to take or challenge problems head on. You will, from a health perspective, you might undergo surgeries, but you will come out strong out of it. You will overcome any kind of ailments that you encounter. You will encounter. I'm not saying that you won't. You will. You definitely will encounter some or the other problems in your life with respect to health, and surgery of some sort is highly probable. So, like a cesarean versus a normal delivery, chances of a cesarean delivery will be much higher in this case. But you will come out healthier, both you and the mother and the child, right? So that is how you would want to look at it. Another bit is that you will do well in the fields that are related to banking, insurance, medicine, law, justice, police. All those professions you are going to do extremely well. You are going to be you are going to leverage actually opportunities in these areas and grow on a regular basis. So, what do I mean by that? You might be actually working as a profession in the field of law, but you will, somehow either have a lot of interaction with people, like corporate counsel in a banking field, or lawyer expertise in finance and stuff, or leveraging banking connections to grow something in terms of their own clientele and something of that sort. So you have to find that hint for your own chart. I mean, I cannot give you all permutations and combinations, but you have to try and think in those areas. You will do very well in challenging situations, in challenging markets in these spheres as well. You could actually be in a profession where you could be a pet breeder. A lot of countries have regulations towards how you breed pets, and you have to get licenses. You could actually be in that stream. So that is another good combination. I do not anticipate multiple problems or challenges with this. However, the only problem that I see is that since the Lord is here, you have to be ready with the obstacles. Obstacles are bound to come, but you are going to fight and you are going to overcome them. And another trickier bit is that you will end up spending a lot of energy even in figuring out or strategizing against your known as well as unknown problems. Like you will be bothered with those things. It's a negative in a way. Why? Because the aspect, seventh aspect is to the 12th house as well. So that is also happening there. And it's bound to affect you. I hope this makes sense. Now we will talk about the sixth lord moving into the seventh house. Tricky combination. The lord of earth is moving into Kama house. And I was mentioning this a few seconds back. This is another, and I was mentioning actually in the previous chapter for the fifth house. So in this combination, there is a possibility, a strong possibility of you spending a lot of time, effort, energy towards your spouse or after you get married. See, seventh house denotes marriage, it denotes your business partnerships, it denotes your public, because it is seventh to the self, right? So it denotes everything public to you as well. While 10th has a broader connotation to it, seventh also gives that aspect. So now what's happening is that all your daily routine, all your energy, all your obstacles, all your fight, you might have to fight hard to get married. It is going second to itself. All your accumulation is also going towards your business partner, towards your spouse. So it might happen, people with this combination might find that they had to fight hard to get married, or they had to fight hard to win the heart of their spouse or win their consent to get married or woo them. Or they might find in a challenging environment situation where a lot of problems have crept up, not just between you and your wife, actually for you as a family, because second connection is the family connection here. So both for you and your spouse, a lot of problems have crept up post marriage. That's a tricky situation where this combination might give that effect, especially say if it is Saturn, and Saturn Capricorn, lord going into Aquarius. Lot of people who are watching this would resonate to what I'm saying here. I've seen it in multiple charts. Post marriage, you might find problems coming in your way. You guys have taken bigger loans, or you might have unexpectedly found some sort of legal trouble that you are fighting. I'm not saying this is a situation of divorce, but if matters go worse in marriage, it could lead you all the way to have a legal dispute. It is not necessary a combination like a seventh lord coming into sixth that is a very strong combination for divorce. This is not the case. But yes, legal dispute between you and your spouse, or for both you and your spouse against the market, is a very strong probability. Any kind of loans or financial troubles could also arise in this case. Marriage could be tough for you. You could have disagreement on finance. Now, this is a lesser of a problem, but in you and your spouse are working, there could be a disagreement in terms of how both of you believe that the finances need to be managed. It could be with your business partner as well. So, a lot of time, energy will go into this. There is another thing that you might note about your spouse. Your spouse could also be a very competitive personality, and it's not about competing with you, but we've seen it so many times that we end up being with partners who who see something in around the world, and that triggers them big time and it impacts them. You will have a spouse who will get triggered by the external environment, and they will start pushing themselves. Then you would notice that your food habits will see a drastic shift post marriage. Drastic shift. Like all the hassles that you never wanted to take, suddenly you will take interest in terms of consuming different types of veggies, exploring different types of cuisines. That is also another probability. Your spouse could be smarter when it comes to managing finances than yourself. And you should actually lean on to them on this aspect, because they are going to help you make the right choice, right decision on this aspect as well. So that's a good bit. There's another trickier thing that comes into play is that some or the other ailments might creep in uh, to your spouse. I'm not talking about the native here. Your spouse might have some kind of a tricky situation because of this sixth lord coming into the seventh house. But one thing is definite, that post marriage, you will see an increase in your savings. You will see an increase in your wealth. Post marriage, you will see that there will be an expansion in the family environment. You might find a spouse who likes to do a lot of things, for your family, for you, your kids and stuff. Like a very family oriented spouse or a partner is what you can anticipate. Now, there will be differences of opinion. Why? Because of the challenges that I've talked about and the competitive mindset and disagreement on certain things. They are better financial managers than you, but still, they will be. It's not a bad combination in terms of finding a good spouse, unless and until you drag situations out of hand and take them all the way to litigations or anything else. Now, when the sixth lord moves into the eighth house, it is going three places away from itself. Now, this is definitely a combination of Vipreet Raj Yoga. Why? Because sixth is not considered a good house along with eighth and 12th. So, and every time you see an exchange here, you will see that the planets will typically be benefiting out of it. Now, this exchange is also the third exchange. See, when 8th Lord would have come to 6th, it would have been an 11th exchange. But here, the movement is three places away from itself. So, you will notice that any of the traits of the 6th house will require additional effort from your end, leading into some positive outcome. Positive outcome, guys, I'm saying here, or transformative outcome in your life. But it will be sudden, like you will not expect it and it would happen. But it will require immense amount of hard work. And that is why it is Vipreet Raj Yoga. See, this is how Vipreet Raj Yoga is defined. It is coming into play. So, for example, you could be in some deep legal situation or medical situation, right? And you gain something financially unexpectedly, but you had to fight for a long period of time on a court case or through any other means to win that situation, to win that litigation and get the gains. You might get involved in a class action suit, which is going to give you sudden outcome that you had not even planned for or anticipated, but it happened because you were facing the challenges of a particular product, of a particular service, of a particular project, but through that class action you got a benefit that was least expected. A lot of times we see that people are owning certain products like a iPhone, or I don't want to name a certain brand, but any kind of a phone or a car or something, and they keep facing certain problems with respect to that product. And then there is a suit, and then they unexpectedly, not even aware of it, they get benefited out of it. So this is a good thing that is going to happen. You are going to come out victorious against your enemies after a hard fought battle. You are going to find success in this case. It's a Vipreet Raj Yoga. Your enemies are going to trouble you big time. You might appear in competitive examinations. First attempt, no success. Second attempt, no success. Third attempt is when you might be able to crack it. And like in the third attempt, your mindset could be that, I don't care about the results. I'm just going to do it, whatever best I can. And you might succeed. That's how it is going to transpire. A lot of times people keep clearing certain competitive examinations, and yet they are not able to get a final entry. But in the later legs of their effort, in the last laps, they tend to succeed, and they tend to succeed big time. I've seen bunch of IAS officers working in not so favorable cadres. I don't want to rate certain cadres and say that this is good, this is bad, but whatever it is. But my friend's uncle happened to be a IAS from Bihar cadre, and he was an IIT and IIT 119th rank and IAS 17th rank all over India. And this guy in his third attempt, I mean, he cracked it in the first two attempts as well, but he did not go and join because he was getting the forest cadre and stuff. But in the third attempt, 6th to 8th combination, I've seen the chart. So you will find, especially if this, it's with a Saturn kind of a planet, very strong probability in such kind of government services coming into play. Saturn is going to do that. So Vipreet Rajuga is going to give you that benefits. It also means that your job or profession could be related to research, or it could be related to a life insurance kind of an industry, or you could pursue education in PhDs, doctorates and stuff. You could be working under an astrologer. If somebody has this combination and wants to pick up video editing work for me, please feel free to do so. I'll take you immediately. 8th house is the sign of occult. So this combination is going to give you that possibility as well, that you get into occult services. You provide those, or you develop interest in terms of reading, understanding, and doing research in that area. But remember, some of the challenges that are going to come your way, the obstacles that are going to come your way, would also be very unexpected. You will overcome them. Remember, I said it's a Vipreet Rajoga, but the problems will be unexpected. Sudden rise in the borrowings rate that you've taken against the loans. You did not plan for it, envisage for it. Working capital gets hit. That kind of a situation might pop up. 100% probability of that kind of a situation popping up. Then you can, what you can anticipate is that in some occasions, some people might find, and I hope I'm wrong about this, but there is a risk, and please take this with a pinch of the salt, friends, but there is a risk of a native developing a medical condition which is going undetected for a long period of time, and then there is a sudden disclosure. Again, seen so many cases of people discovering them being suffering from cancer, a sudden discovery, and at a very late stage in life, which is very difficult. I mean, in case of breast cancer and stuff, a lot of women who find it, they still have the opportunity to sometimes, I don't want to go into the dynamics of it, but the probability is still higher. But in this combination, the native might have a risk of discovering something which is a little too late. So remember, when the planet is going into the 8th, it is aspecting your 2nd. I will always advise people with this combination to have a good, hefty insurance in place, health and term insurance both. You should please consider on this. I mean, it's a financial advice for everybody, of course, to each their own, but from an astrological perspective, and this is not a legal advice, guys, I want to give that caution. But from an astrology perspective, this is a combination that hints, and you must consider it, because at the end of the day, this 6th to 8th will be aspecting your 2nd. It will be aspecting the wealth that you generate for your family. It's also a combination of you working in the back end of a food related business or supply chain business. That is another thing I wanted to call out. Say you are working with a large grocery chain. People who are working in the food delivery related jobs in those kind of companies, very strong chance to succeed and exceed in that career. All right. So I hope this makes sense. Now we will talk about 6th lord moving into the ninth house. So when sixth lord is moving into the ninth house, what's going to happen is that this is a combination. One, it is going four places away from itself, and the artha lord is going into the dharma house. Again, a trikon combination very similar to the fifth one, but this is a better one. Why? Because it is going four places away from itself. Your mental peace, your happiness, your satisfaction is going to come when you seek the advice of a spiritual guru, of your fatherly figure, of your superior at job. Your superior's mentorship is going to be extremely critical for you to succeed in life. If you do not follow that, if you do not adhere to it, you will face a lot of trouble, challenges, problems. A lot of times we in our work, in our profession, like to be entrepreneurial in terms of mindset. We want to make our own calls. We want to make our mistakes and learn from them. And I'm not saying that is a bad approach, but I will recommend in this kind of a combination, it is good to seek the advice of somebody whom you look up to as a mentor, or your boss, your superior, or more importantly, your father. Again, very, very important for you, and that will provide you the satisfaction that you need in life. And that could be related to anything in life. Every time people with this combination face any challenge, they should seek an expert advice. You face a legal issue, go to a lawyer. You are getting a ticket, and you face a traffic ticket and you try to raise contest it by yourself. At least in US you get that option. Do not do that yourself. See if you can seek the advice of a subject matter expert, a professional who can give you the right recommendation. People with this combination should consider this, because that is going to be beneficial for them. It is going to help them have that peace of mind, help them protect their assets. Your your ability to succeed in any kind of competition, your ability to overcome any kind of obstacle will be dependent on the quality of coach you have in your life. So you will be Arjuna only when you have Krishna. It is very, very, it's paramount, and I cannot emphasize enough in this combination. It's uh, Another way to look at it is you need to find a torch bearer for yourself in some shape or form to overcome problems in your life. If an exchange happens, excellent, between 6th and ninth. But also remember that, see, any matters, any legal issues that come your way, a lot of times because sixth house denotes that divorce situation as well. A lot of times when people are undergoing through those kind of problems, they tend to make a lot of decisions themselves. Okay, I'm not happy in this marriage, I'm not happy in this relationship, or whatever, and I'm not giving an advice as to what should be your call, but you must seek guidance, especially spiritual guidance, from your fatherly figure or from a guru that you deem suitable. And that guru doesn't mean it has to be a spiritual guru, it could be your elder siblings, because the fourth connection, even your mother's advice will be very, very good for you. So any people who, and there are so many people who come to my channel who ask about this question, when you have your sixth lord going in ninth with that fourth connection, your mother's advice is going to be good for you. It is going to be beneficial. I would want you to also think that many of you would notice that with this combination, your parents would have adopted, especially your father would have adopted some kind of a pet. I remember in the old times, our families used to have cows, birds, and dogs and cats, and everything is not something I'm referring to. It's like having a poultry animals or cattle and stuff. So your parent could have that connection, and they could be very fond of animals as well. A lot of you will notice this. I think the I do not see any major troubles in this, other than the fact that there could be certain health and financial troubles that your father could face in life. It's a strong possibility post your birth. So you will have to go back and check with them if they encountered anything of this sort or not. And actually, more of health related issues to your father, and and mental health and financial issues coming on your mother. That is a situation that might arise. There could be trouble. When I say emotional trouble to the mother, that mother could be a person who has a habit of taking a lot of stress as well in this case. Like a person who tends to take unnecessary stress on themselves is what you will find in this combination. So you go and check in your chart and check with your mom's behavior or your father's lifestyle. That is a possibility. Your father could have habits of consuming liquor or smoking as well. That is also a possibility in this combination. Now, when the sixth lord goes into the 10th house, so the earth trikon combination is coming into play. And as you guys can see, now it is going 5 places away from itself. So, first and foremost, whatever education you've taken, you will do your work in that field itself. 100%. And you are going to be a workaholic person. You are going to be like extremely motivated, driven, crazy towards your work in life. That is going to be a very your profession or your job will take priority over anything in life. This is the attribute you will find with the people with this combination. They will be very hardworking by nature. On a day-to-day basis, you throw them a problem, an obstacle comes, they will be ready to solve problems not just for self, but they would want to address problems that are bigger, larger than life in a way. Say you find trouble in terms of certain thing not happening in your community. Let's say the park is being kept. So it's not just that you are going to see that whatever is visible from your house or whatever you need to access on a day-to-day basis. No, you will go ahead and pick up a battle with the local municipality, and you would want to solve that problem for the entire community. That kind of challenges, and like you will take it head on. You will scout for these kind of problems and you will solve them. You will solve problems for the public as well. So that is a very good thing that happens when this combination takes into effect. But it's a combination of earth to a higher form of earth. Means that monetarily you will be extremely driven. You will do anything and everything in terms of expanding your wealth, and by the righteous means. It's a fifth movement to the 10th. Public leadership is a quality that you will display. What do I mean by public leadership? That a lot of people, even if you are in a job, you would want to, of course, you are hardworking. Natural answer is that you will climb up the ladder, but you will not just be climbing up the ladder and succeeding in the corporate world, but you will be setting examples for your workforce or for your teams to follow. You will lead them by example. You will be a service oriented leader. That mindset will be there. 100% people who are listening to this, you will resonate. Please comment and drop your feedback on this. You know what I'm saying here. So you will solve challenges at your workplace that will set examples, and it will inspire other people to do so as well. People who are okay, one more thing I want to call out from a professional standpoint. A lot of times people who are into political careers or who are pursuing politics, they will also have this combination, especially if some connection with Rahu happens. If Rahu also gets conjunct and sits in the 10th house, or it's Sun and Saturn. These 3 planets, if they are there, the probability increases multifold. Sun being the lord of 5th goes and sits there, right? So that is another. It could also it could also a connection with a Jupiter kind of a planet or even a Venus kind of a planet might make you a mentor to some of the people who want to learn certain skills from you. That kind of situation will arise with this kind of combination, especially like Jupiter, definitely. So you will bring that element into play as well. Now, with all of these, again, some challenges will also be arising. One of the biggest challenge will be that from a karma perspective, you will find a lot of enemies. From your work front perspective, at your workplace perspective, you will find a lot of enemies and competition as well. That is definitely going to be there. Now it depends on the planet and the overall chart and dignity that you have to check, that how much of a ability you have to overcome that. Like you being a workaholic, you're fighting hard, but it's if it is not a good overall yoga in place in your chart, you just keep fighting, somebody else wins. That's the problem that you will face with this. You are in a political career, you doing a lot of good for the downtrodden, but you are not winning in your constituency, in whatever field you are in. You are not able to succeed. You are in a student union, back in your college, you did a lot of right measures from student body perspective, but you're not the Gen Sec, you're not the secretary of the overall union. You might get a lower post, somehow somebody else steals the show. Those kind of triggers you will find in life. Promotion could become challenging. You might keep doing well in your career in terms of earning good money, finding a respectable job, but not get the outcome in terms of the right designation, right position. If the aspect to the 10th Lord or the 10th Lord in itself is in a bad situation, then that problem also arises. But I can assure you that you will be either in a profession that you've got a degree, most probably that would be the case, or you will end up taking a profession at a certain point in life that was your inner calling, which is your karmic call. And that's why I feel a lot of politicians, because it is a connect with the masses, 10th house is the connection of the masses, they end up taking a work coming from a different profession. A lot of lawyers, a lot of criminals, a lot of spiritual teachers, a lot of civil servants and stuff. They tend to switch their career and move into the field of politics. Why? It's a karmic call for many. It's the fifth connection that will happen. So we've discussed for the pros and cons. I think last but not the least, people who are in public service, they could also be having, and I'm trying to bring a lot of energy from a pet perspective as well. Pets could also have a role to play in your workplace. Either you work in a nice startup that is flexible with you taking your pet to the workplace, or you could have guard animals or cattle or something of that sort that you have to use in your profession. So some sort of a connection will be there from a service perspective in that regard. Not one of the greatest combinations to run business, but politics, yes, and job, definitely, yes. Now, when the sixth lord goes 6 places away from itself to the 11th house, another beautiful combination. It's Bhavarth Bhavam coming into place. So, 11th house, it denotes gains, it denotes wish fulfillment, it denotes positive outcomes for you, it denotes how you can benefit. And when the sixth lord is going there, all the challenges that you face in your life, all the enemies that come to your life, you are going to fight with your enemies, make those kind of turbulent obstacles as opportunities for yourself, and you are going to win. In fact, in some situations, it could be as crazy as you scouting for problems, taking them head on, and then benefiting from it. Another good combination, I would say, if you think yourself as an enterprising person. Very, very strong combination from that perspective. You are going to leverage and find gains from your enemies. You are, in some sort of a job, somebody comes and challenges and says, hey, XYZ, you can't do this. You are going to take that battle and then publicly figure out at a network level that how you achieve it, and then you blow your own trumpet in terms of, see, I was challenged and I've solved this problem. And this guy was a naysayer. So you will have that kind of a mindset, and that's a very good thing to have. It's a very strong positive to have in place. Another thing would be that again, you will be able to derive benefits for yourself by leveraging debt. I was mentioning it for the other folks as well in the previous sign. For this case as well, you guys taking on debt to find gains will be good, or you will be able to find very friendly, fruitful deals for yourself when it comes to loans. You will benefit out of litigations. Somebody challenges you in a court, you are the one most probably who will come out victorious. If it is Mars, Mars is aspecting with its eighth aspect its own sign. Imagine how crazy that it is. For a Scorpio ascendant, with Aries being the sixth house and Mars sitting in your 11th, it's your Lagna Lord aspecting its own sign with its eighth aspect. It's a very powerful Shatruganta Yoga. So you are going to benefit out of the litigations if any litigations come your way. You are going to be victorious in those situations. The tricky bit is that the 11th house, and many people have reprimanded in the comments that, Dave, you only say positive things about 11th house, and why don't you talk about the problems? It denotes the higher form of desires, because it's a Kam Trikona house, the highest form of Kam Trikona. So it is endless desire. Now the Lord of problems is going into endless desires. Means there is an endless amount of madness or drive. People with this combination are not satisfied with whatever they have. They succeed, and yet the goalpost shifts and they want to accomplish the next thing. They would have a huge network, and like they would bring problems at a large network level itself. So the problems are not going to be small in scale for these people. There will be many problems and higher multitude of problems. It denotes your higher siblings as well. Remember that. Higher siblings perspective, when this happens, you are going to see that the trickier part is that your elder siblings could face some sort of challenges, like I was talking in the third house case. They could be facing troubles when it comes to any legal issues or any kind of financial issues or health issues. They could be jealous of you, of your success. They might not be financially doing well as good as you might be doing. Now, I don't want to say it's a positive thing or a negative thing. It is to your interpretation, but yes, that will be another possibility. Of course, you would want to check the dignity of other planets. How is the position of your 11th Lord as well is also important. But in this position, when the 6th Lord is going 6 places away from itself, it is also aspecting your 5th house. So, interesting combination. You will succeed in romance and love life after overcoming a problem against somebody. So the third party situation that I was referring to, the people with 6th Lord going into the 5th house, opposite is happening for the people in 11th house. You will be that third party and come out victorious. All right. So now we will talk about 6th Lord going into the 12th house. Now it is going 7 places away from itself. 7 places away from itself into a house which is again considered a tough house, and it is another combination of Vipreet Raj Yoga, like in the case of 6th to 8th. Here, the challenges, the obstacles, known enemies are all going into the house of expenses, isolation, unknown enemies. The dangerous bit, the problems before the Vipreet Rajoka comes into play, is that your known enemies could craft problems or partner with your unknown enemies that you are not even aware of and create more challenges for you. Say in your workplace, simple example, I don't want to sound like a cipher, but in your job profession itself, there are a couple of people who are not bonding well with you. They might go and backbite to your boss about something. create unnecessarily difficult situation for yourself at the workplace. That is definite possibility. Your energy, time, daily routine could be getting wasted into traveling and going to, hospitals, going to doctors' clinics, some sort of physiotherapy. Some sort of injury might hit you that requires these kind of activities, and you will have to do continuous visits. Problem. Will you come out of it? Yes. Vipreet Raj Yoga will help you come out of it, but you will face these problems. Expenses will be there, especially with respect to loans and litigations. Expenses will be there. You will see unexpected expenses coming your way, unplanned expenses coming your way. You will be able to tackle them. You will be able to address, repay them as well, but they will come your way. It's not a very happy situation. It's not a very happy situation because it could result into turbulences with respect to health of your spouse and partner as well. Please keep this in mind. I have done a reading. It came out as a learning to me. And I kept on wondering what was the reason, but yes, it came out as that combination. 7th to 12th with a 6th combination, and 6th to 12th with a 7th combination. Similar results, guys. So that's a challenge that you will see. But on a good day, not everything is bad. You will find growth in your life post marriage. Your partner, your life partner could be the person who might help you, like stand tall, shoulder to shoulder, right next to you to fight the problems that you are having. Your partner will be very critical in terms of helping you build a discipline in life, address the challenges that you're facing. So those kind of things will also be in a positive stream of light. Every time you will get an obstacle, you will find the energy somehow to overcome it. Whether you cry for it, you do it happily, whatever. But I want you guys, we keep on talking about, ruling our planets here. So you have to be mentally prepared to face that battle and overcome the same. All right. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this reading, guys. If you have, please smash on that like button. And please leave your comments. I would like to do better in the efforts that I'm putting in here. And keep watching Dev Astrology. Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you.